Welcome to beautiful downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, the city that has been host to the Georgia Bulldogs for the last few days. Behind me, this is the Auburn Athletic Complex. If you're not familiar with it, the team is practicing right over here behind the complex, and this is the first video that you will see from about 20 or 30 minutes ago. The team practicing. Nick Marshall, the leader of this team, still don't know his status yet after that citation in Reynolds, Georgia. And as you heard from Coach Blackman and Coach Malzahn, he definitely did a good job of being who he was and making sure that everyone else knew how special this area was to him and how his teammates were also special to him. Live in Auburn, Dayne Young, News 3 Sports, on your side. I saw a tweet earlier that captures, I think, what the Auburn family is having to deal with and where their mindset and hearts are right now. Hearts that have definitely been battered by tragedy over the recent years. Describe the atmosphere here. The U.S. almost scoring a goal just now that would have tied it up. They did not. U.S. currently down 2-1 to Belgium. There's plenty more from Les Miles. It was one of those things where reporters were wishing he would come back the second he left the room, almost like Rose asking the boat to come back in Titanic. An out-of-region battle in Georgia with athletes all over the field for both teams. Harris County hosting Callaway. A lot of guys going to play on Saturdays and probably even Sundays from this game. First quarter, Dre Martin to the pitch. Eddie Culpepper on the outside. Eddie, keep going, dive in for the score. It was the night before Christmas when all through the South, all the coaches were resting, except Spurrier's Mouth. Tuscaloosa swears Santa's real name is Bear, even though old St. Nick Saban is there. All Nick's kids were tucked in their beds while rhythms of Leonard Skinner ran through their heads, while beyond their houndstooth curtains did appear a miniature sleigh with 8 strong reindeer. Here's the CBS view of it. You can make your own conclusion, but the refs made theirs. They double-checked it, and look how close this is. They say that South Carolina got the first down, and that's what iced the game. We're going to zoom in. Wow. It's not even a game of inches. That's a game of millimeters. But to me, the best way to learn about Jaquel Mitchell is to hear him in his own words. Jaquel Mitchell's ability on the football field was unquestioned. He was a leader who helped Opelika High School become a power in the state of Alabama. But it was his selflessness that made him such a good teammate. He displayed that the summer before his senior season when he tore his ACL.
The first thing that went through my mind were my teammates. I was just thinking about what I couldn't do to help them anymore, and that was it hurt me the most, just not being able to help my teammates anymore.
His team mentality actually complemented his personal confidence. He tried to rehab from his knee injury to make it back for the state playoffs.
I want to be a part of that, and I don't want to feel like I let them down if I don't at least try. So that's what I'm going to do.
He was very close to making it back on the field. He even suited up in full pads and represented the Bulldogs as a captain in the playoffs. He knew that he was part of a special family.
This is the best team in the state, that we're ready for whoever else is out here.
When Opelika's season came to an end, Mitchell signed on with his beloved Auburn Tigers, and by fall practice, he'd already made a huge impression on his coaches.
Jaquel Mitchell athletically is exactly what we thought. He needs to put on some weight to be an every down player at the spot we play him at in our league, but he's even more athletic than I thought he'd be. And coming off of an injury where he didn't play for a year, that's been a really pleasant surprise.
When adversity hit, Jaquel Mitchell didn't focus on himself. He knew he was part of something bigger, something stronger. His words to his teammates at Opelika after his injury are very similar to what he would tell his Auburn family now.
One person doesn't make a team, and that somebody on this team has to step up and be the leader that I was playing when I was playing. But now that I'm not playing anymore, somebody has to take on that role.
I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win! I believe that we
That is Brent Westlake, an Auburn student, a soccer maniac, and a proud American man.
When the Yanks! When the Yanks! Go marching in! Go marching in! When the Yanks go marching in!
He knows soccer very well. He even played the game against U.S. national team's Josie Altidore as a teenager. He says the World Cup is like Christmas every day.
Soccer is such a tribal sport that you find your friends, you find your niche, you find your supporters, and you stick with them. And it's just this awesome communal feeling.
We talked with Brent at different moments of the game to try to understand the agony he and his fellow Americans were going through. At halftime, the game was tied at 0, and hope was very strong. His voice, however, was not.
My voice is hurting a little bit. The vocal cords are getting a little shaky right now.
The second half brought a myriad of emotions. This is when U.S. goalkeeper Tim Howard made a tremendous save, but seconds later he gives up the game's only goal to Germany. By this point, soccer fans were looking out of the corner of their eyes to the Portugal and Ghana game.
It was really difficult to keep up with both games. Watching the Portugal and Ghana game obviously carried a little bit more weight because once Germany scored, we just had to rely on them to get us through.
And that's exactly what happened. Even though the U.S. lost, they still won because their World Cup dreams are still alive. The Auburn fans are ready for more celebrations.
If we win each knockout stage, we're rolling those trees. Just like an Auburn win, it's a win for America, so we got to roll them just like it's football season.
So how did these fans close out the American team's battle cry? With a little local flair.